What is sexual purity, and how does one's faith connect with the daily struggles of pursuing such purity? I hold to a very simple definition of sexual purity. It's managing my sexuality in a manner that pleases God. Obviously, this definition takes into account a very glaring assumption. God is interested in my sexuality. For those who don't believe in God or perceive such a being doesn't exist, this definition is tossed aside as foolish and professionally irresponsible for someone in the, quote, business of helping people with sexual addictions. Nevertheless, for anyone who has struggled to recover from the horrific grip of sexual addiction, there comes an overwhelming realization that behaviors are not disconnected from something spiritual, that what is seen, for example, sensed physically, is somehow attached to something unseen, an intangible self that can't be removed from what we call reality. God's the creator of all things. John's gospel states, through him, God, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. You and I were made by God, and you and I were made with this wonderful, unique, and powerful design of sexuality. You are sexual on purpose. God made you that way. If God made your sexuality, then it serves to reason that he would retain the right to instruct how this sexuality is to be expressed. Imagine an automobile manufacturer designing a state-of-the-art sports car. This car is off the hook, as my younger friends from a couple generations back would say. The engine's complex and powerful with everything fully automatic. Now imagine if someone bought this car and decided they didn't like the inconvenience or expense of putting gas into it. Instead, they decided water would be much more convenient and save a lot of money. What would happen? They would have a very nice sports car parked in their garage, not operating as it was designed. This is a picture of the foolishness of trying to operate our lives in any aspect, apart from the instruction and empowerment of the Creator. Thus, sexual purity is managing my sexuality in a manner that pleases God. A life of faith is not disconnected from practicality. Spiritual life is not counter to practical living. In fact, it is only through faith that we can live a life that pleases God. We're told that in Hebrews 11:6. So to recover from sexual addiction and pursue a life of purity requires faith, a moment-by-moment trusting in the one who made us, the one who knows how we operate best. Now, I know that faith can be a mysterious idea to many, but it doesn't have to be mystical. Faith is simply trusting in another. It's a kind of surrender, a willingness to be led by someone else. I remember a time in high school when I was with a group of friends and we were going spelunking, exploring a cave. In order to make this cave exploration more interesting, we decided to go through without flashlights. We formed a single file line, the first guy being someone who'd been through this cave numerous times. Each person kept within arm's length of the person in front of them in order to keep from getting lost. We exhibited faith in the point man to guide us through the cave unharmed. Our faith, which was unseen, became connected to our actions, which was seen, and we made it through the cave, mostly unscathed. When we trust God with our sexuality, even with all the struggles and temptations, he is faithful to lead us to safety, to purity. He will lead us to the practical expression of our sexuality in ways that will honor him. Our faith in God leads us to turn off the TV, install a filter on the computer, avoid a magazine rack at the grocery store, bounce our eyes from the lewd billboards, walk away from crude sexual jokes at work, and take thoughts captive that seek to distract us from God's design for our sexuality. It is through our faith that we walk in purity. Faith is the means to practical purity. Do you see the connection between your spiritual walk with God and the practical actions you take in your pursuit of purity? Be careful of trying to separate the two, somehow having this spiritual life on one side and your practical purity on the other. True purity is a deepening marriage between your faith and actions. Don't let your sexuality get stuck in the garage because you're trying to manage it through your own delusional ideas of how this sports car of sexuality is supposed to run. Instead, go to your Creator, study His Word, and follow His instructions. When you do, your engine will purr and God will be pleased.